In a remote Texas town, Jason Hopper, an archaeology professor, is searching for missing hippies from the 1970s in the remote mountain terrain. While exploring, he comes across a cave with a cowboy standing still, seemingly frozen in time. Hopper greets the cowboy, but there's no response, making him feel uneasy. He leaves the cave and calls his assistant Jackie on his way back to town. Hopper tells her about finding the van but no sign of the hippies and asks her to discreetly prepare a climbing pack without informing Taylor, his other assistant, and Jackie's best friend. Back home, Hopper is disappointed that Jackie informed Taylor about his planned expedition. He decides to continue the search for the missing hippies alone, declining Taylor's offer to join him. The next day, Hopper returns to the research area. As he reaches the cave entrance, he spots the suspended cowboy still there. Curious, he ventures further inside the cave and encounters a mysterious wall of moisture. 2 days later, Taylor approaches Jackie's home, asking her to join him in the search for Hopper. Jackie agrees and suggests bringing Kara since her dad has a Jeep. Kara agrees and joins the group. Inside the car, Taylor explains the weekend adventure plan to Kara and Viv. He mentions their mentor, Professor Hopper's obsession with finding the missing hippies from the 1970s. Taylor also reveals that the hippies were tripping on shrooms and searching for the Fountain of Youth, but never returned. This reminds Viv of her friend Furby, and she insists on bringing him along, though Kara isn't thrilled about it. Furby immediately develops a crush on Jackie, which annoys her. During their journey, Furby hands out action cameras so they can capture every moment of the adventure. They reach Hopper's search area and find a 70s heavy van. Among the discoveries, they find an old photo of a family labeled The Hoppers, May 1970. Jackie is surprised that Hopper didn't mention this. Taylor speculates that Hopper might be searching for his missing parents rather than the missing hippies and the Fountain of Youth. Furby stumbles upon a rope, which leads them to a cave. Jackie finds the end of the rope severed before a steep descent. They decide to explore further into the cave system. Furby stays behind as a lookout due to his fear of spiders and crickets, and Taylor gives him a radio for communication. Jackie and Viv descend first, followed by Taylor and Kara. Inside the cave, Kara notices the same mysterious wall that Hopper saw earlier. As they venture on, Hopper follows the cowboy slowly until he hears unsettling noises of a man growling and a girl screaming. Alarmed, Hopper quickly retreats back to the cave entrance. To his surprise, despite only spending a few minutes inside, it's already nighttime when he steps out. Hopper rushes back to his car, which appears rusty and overgrown with plants as if it had been there for a long time. He surveys the area and discovers an old Jeep that bears a striking resemblance to Harris's car. Peering inside the Jeep, he comes across a familiar bag that he immediately recognizes as Jackie's. He calls out her name nervously, but there's no response. Determined to find Jackie and Taylor, he decides to return to the cave equipped with lead flares. Back inside the cave, Jackie and Viv continue their investigation until they hear eerie disembodied voices in the distance, causing them to panic. They implore Taylor and Kara to go back up, but Taylor initially declines. Eventually, he gives in to their request. Jackie volunteers to climb up first, but her rope snaps halfway through, resulting in her falling on Taylor, breaking his hand while Jackie sustains a leg injury. Taylor suspects that Furby intentionally cut the rope due to his crush on Jackie and attempts to contact Furby on the radio, but there's no response. Both Kara and Viv also try to reach Furby on the radio without success. The group debates on how to climb back up, with Kara being suggested to attempt it without a rope. Suddenly, they hear a loud thudding noise. Taylor uses the radio to call for Furby again, but there's still no answer. Viv hears another radio chime as Taylor calls for Furby and believes it might be Hopper's radio. They get a response on the other line, but the voice is distorted, saying, "Help me." Taylor asks if the person is Hopper, and the voice identifies as Furby. The group finds it hard to believe it's actually Furby, so Taylor, Viv, and Kara decide to investigate. They reach a cave tunnel and witness a mysterious light dancing above the surface. Kara climbs up and is horrified to see Furby's lifeless body on the other side of a rock. She asks Taylor to take Viv to another room so that Viv won't see Furby's body, but as they turn back, they encounter Jackie crawling towards them. Taylor instructs Viv and Jackie to stay back, but Viv manages to use her camera to get a glimpse of what's happening on the other side of the rock. Through Furby's camera footage, the group learns that Furby fell because of a severed rope, resulting in a fatal neck injury. They remain puzzled about who could have cut Furby's rope. While watching the recorded footage, they discover that Furby had been looking for the group after receiving no radio communication from them within half an hour after they descended into the cave. Furby comes across a cave, a rope, and a Jeep that all point to Hopper's expedition. He discovers a journal belonging to Hopper's dad, revealing his obsession with finding the Fountain of Youth back in the 70s. The journal contains stories and drawings by Spanish conquistadors trying to find a cave with magical healing waters, sent by the Queen to save her dying husband. All the expeditions failed, and the last one took place near their town. In the footage, Furby is seen waiting for the group until midnight. He reads the journal again and learns that Hopper's dad began the search when Hopper's sister fell sick. The group is puzzled by how time seems to fly inside the cave, as they believed they were in there for only an hour, but the recording indicates it's already Tuesday. Furby bids farewell to his mom and the group before descending into the cave he found earlier. During the descent, he witnesses quick flashing lights in the sky, and the rope gets severed, leading to his death. The group argues desperately about the time discrepancy and the peculiarities of the cave. They decide to send Kara up the cave tunnel to the surface, equipped with a camera and a GPS beacon for communication. Kara reaches the surface and is surprised to find a barren landscape filled with rock formations and difficulty breathing. She spots a thick dust wall resembling a sandstorm on the horizon and spots a gigantic triangular spaceship in the sky, before quickly returning to the cave. Taylor, Viv, and Jackie don't believe her story due to their confusion with time inside the cave. Kara suggests they watch her camera footage to understand what she saw. Taylor shows his camera footage as well, and they realize time is passing differently inside the cave than on the surface. Taylor theorizes that the flashing light Furby saw was the sun rapidly rising and setting, meaning they might have been inside the cave for weeks or months. Jackie suggests they might be in the Fountain of Youth, as time appears to stop inside the cave. Kara asks for a rest, and Taylor realizes that Furby was still alive after he fell, and his radio wasn't smashed when they found him. They continue watching the remaining footage, revealing that a prehistoric man found Furby and caused his death. Kara decides to climb back up the tunnel, discovering through Furby's footage that entire seasons passed quickly on the surface. Suddenly, a bright object falls down the cave tunnel, transforming into a ladder. As Kara climbs up, she encounters a gigantic humanoid being climbing down. Kara quickly descends as the humanoid reaches the cave's surface and battles a caveman using a futuristic collar chain. The group flees through cave passages, eventually finding a dead woman whom Jackie recognizes as Hopper's mother. Nearby lies Hopper's deceased father, along with a dead cowboy surrounded by cavemen. They try to escape, but are spotted by the cavemen, causing Taylor to stay behind and fight. Unfortunately, he is overpowered and passes out. The other three members of the group hide from two pursuing cavemen, while Taylor is left to face them alone. Sensing that they have lost the cavemen, Kara decides to check on Taylor and finds his lifeless body on the ground. The humanoid arrives at the scene, and Kara, frightened and angry, tries to protect Taylor, but it pays them no attention. Instead, it draws a vial of water from a pool across the room and drags Taylor's lifeless body into the water, despite Kara's objections. The cavemen return and attack the humanoid, but to everyone's surprise, Taylor comes back to life. A brawl ensues between the humanoid and a caveman, during which the humanoid is fatally incapacitated when its helmet is removed. With Kara's help, they manage to defeat the outnumbered cavemen. As the humanoid is dying, it uses its last breaths to show the group media clips about their disappearance, revealing that thousands of years have passed on the surface and humans are now living in outer space. The group discusses their options, whether to find a way out of the cave or accept their new reality and stay there forever. Taylor discovers a backpack that belongs to Hopper and decides to look for him, instructing the others to retrieve Furby's body. He also takes a pistol left behind by the deceased cowboy. On his way, Taylor finds LED flares dropped by Hopper, and he comes across cave paintings depicting mysterious events from the past. He stumbles upon a cave child caring for injured and dead cavemen by pouring water on their wounds. Taylor finds Hopper wounded in front of another time wall, peeking through to witness a battle between conquistadors and cavemen over a waterfall. Hopper reveals that the little girl inside the time trap is his sister and that he finally found the Fountain of Youth. Despite Jackie's plea for Taylor to come back, Hopper insists he is not going to make it and urges Taylor to save the others. Returning to the group, Taylor leaves the pistol with Hopper to deal with the cavemen. Taylor places Furby's body into the healing pool, and the others are also healed from their injuries. Gunshots from Hopper's location indicate his fight against the newly revived cavemen. The group rushes to escape using the humanoid's ladder, but the cavemen catch up to them. Kara, climbing first, discovers a water portal at the top instead of the surface. As she touches the water, she is pulled by alien-like hands, and Taylor grabs her to prevent her from falling. Unfortunately, a caveman deactivates the ladder, and they all fall. Kara finds herself within the shimmering water portal, pulled up by the enigmatic alien beings who provide her with a water breather for the journey. Suspended in animation, Kara, Taylor, and Viv appear to be descending, but their fall is swiftly halted as three advanced ropes materialize from the portal, securing them in place. Hopper, his family, and everyone else are also revived. Taylor, Jackie, Viv, and Kara arrive to explain that they are inside a space station. Hopper, still dazed and confused but reunited with his family, has much to talk about with Taylor. The scene pans out to show other space stations hovering above a planet.